and welcome to another edition of In the Spotlight with Mayor Jeffrey Mims. And of course, today I have another special guest, and we all know that all my guests are special. So, Miss Amber Wright, how are you with the Foodbank?
I am fantastic.
Fantastic? Great. I can tell by that smile. Thank you so much for that. So, let's talk about you, your background, what you do.
So I am a Dayton native.
Okay.
I was born and raised right here in the Gem City, and I attended Stiver School for the Arts,
Okay.
where I studied dance and creative writing. Absolutely love that school. And then after that, I went to Ohio University, where I got my bachelor's degree in journalism and public relations with a minor in anthropology.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to say what brought you here, but you're already here. So you were here. You grew up here. I'm glad. So making your positive contribution back to the city of Dayton. It's great seeing you and your staff whenever you have so many of these food distribution bank programs throughout the city of Dayton. And I want you to sort of talk about that. What does it mean when you have the opportunity to give so many people baskets of food, bags of food, all the kind of things that they have in terms of the whole drive-up situation that you have throughout the city? Let's talk about that for a minute. First of all, how do you go through that process?
So there's a common misconception about the work that we do.
Okay.
Because a lot of people confuse us as a food bank for being a food pantry.
Okay.
And there is a very clear difference. We're actually a step up on the supply chain. So a lot of the work that we do is actually by assisting other nonprofits. And those nonprofits are the food pantries, the soup kitchens, the child feeding sites, various types of emergency shelters, and places like that. We have about 118 of these partners currently.
Okay.
And they all get their food from us free of charge. But we do have programs in addition to moving that food. And some of the things that we're known for are our mass distributions. A lot of people have probably seen the lines, especially around the UD Arena. That one is by far our largest.
Right.
And we host about 7 of these each year, and we'll just distribute as much food directly to the community that we can.
Okay. I know I've participated in both the one at UD as well as Jefferson Township, the fairgrounds that you have in that location as well. Mm-hmm. So I was happy to see that. I think the last one was at the fairgrounds.
Yes.
Maybe about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how do you guys handle, I know you guys smile a lot, but how do you handle the smiles from the participants, those individuals who are getting the free containers of food as they come through, again, with a lot of them with great needs? So what's the attitude like with your employees once those individuals leave?
Oh gosh, we have a really great staff on hand, and when we do direct distributions like the ones that we held at the fairground,
Right.
people are overwhelmingly grateful for the food that they receive, and it's really heartwarming and a good opportunity for us to actually see the impact that we're having, because a lot of that we don't get to see directly since so much of our food moves through our partner agencies first.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been really incredible. Now, all of the people that get in line for food assistance show up in the same space, however. And so an interesting thing about the food bank is that we actually started something called the Care Crew.
Okay.
And
Explain that.
The Care Crew is a team that is trained in a lot of trauma-informed classes. So if people show up not their best selves, which if you are somebody experiencing food insecurity, there's a good chance that you might not show up your best self. We are trained to be able to sit with that person, hold space, and connect them to any other services they might need in addition to the food assistance that they came seeking.
Okay.
And so those are some heavier topics. Like some people are trained because we've had a few, not many, just a couple, but a few times we've had people come through expressing suicidal ideations or a lot of extreme immediate needs that we feel need to be addressed in the moment. You know, you're not going to tell somebody, hold on, until we can call somebody to take care of this. You're going to sit with them in that moment, let them get it off their chest, and then have services that you can refer them to immediately.
Okay. Now, I knew you guys were doing some additional services, but I just was not aware of all that you do in those spaces, because many of them, when they come, they have maybe 1 ticket, they have 2 tickets, sometimes they have maybe 4 tickets. Mm-hmm. How do you determine the number of tickets that they have, which determine how much food they get?
So at those distributions, it's by household.
Okay.
So the people coming through, they are are either picking up for multiple households or they just have a really large family. Sometimes if somebody has, say, 8 members in their family, we'll give them 2 tickets for 2 households just because it's so large.
Okay. Disgruntled individuals. I haven't seen any, but have you seen any?
Yeah, every once in a while. Like I
Every now and
said, we started the care crew, and that is one of the things that we are trained to handle is when people come, like I said, not their best selves. And we've been very blessed so far that we don't have to deal with that a lot. Most of the people that come to us, like I said, are overwhelmingly grateful and just happy to be receiving the food assistance that they get.
Okay. Now, how long have you been doing this work?
Personally, I've been doing this work about 5 years.
Okay.
As an organization, though, we are almost 50 years old. That is next year, and we are planning a big celebration and a big hubbub around that. So, 50 years.
So I was made aware of your location there last year. I was invited to come over and take a look around, walk around, and see how you planted certain types of food, to see and interact with some of the individuals who are working there in those spaces. And one of the programs that you have over there is working with some of the young ladies who are with DCI, I think it is?
Yes.
Yeah, explain that program in terms of how that works and then some of the transition programs that happen as well.
Okay. So quick backstory. We recently expanded our mission a few years ago to address not just feeding the line, but shortening the line.
Okay.
And so we're looking at a lot of the barriers that basically make people turn to us for food assistance in the first place. And we're trying to figure out how can we address those issues. And one of the things that we determined was a barrier was having a criminal record. I think the last time I read a stat around that, it was almost 90% of people who are leaving incarceration are food insecure for the first year. And that's just wild. So we started this partnership with the Dayton Correctional Institution where they send 4 women that are currently incarcerated to our property 3 days a week where they are given heavy workforce development training. These women receive a living wage while they are working with us, and at the same time, they're being trained in urban agriculture out in our greenhouse and urban garden. Mm-hmm. So it's been a really successful program so far. In fact, we used to have 5 women that came, but one of them was released from incarceration and is now a full-time employee.
Yes, I was going to ask you about the transition program with that. So is there hope for others to follow that same pathway?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that other area organizations might even duplicate the model that we have and start their own workforce development programs.
Okay. So you're in the process of building, like so many things that's happening as far as the city of Dayton is concerned, is we're building all over. And you're in a very, very popular space over there, right there on Germantown Pike, the lower area in terms of where you guys are located. You're right there with the Central State University, my alma mater, the Dayton campus, the police station that's over there as well. You move up a little bit further, you have work being done at the Oil Phillips Temple Church. Then right behind there, we're building a new Boys and Girls Club. Okay. Then further up the street, we're doing the work with the Soda Bass in terms of that space there. Then across the street from that, we're doing Children's Hospital. And then right up the street a little bit further, we got the Homeful apartment complex that's in the process of being built, as well as the urgent care, the pharmacy, and the grocery store. A lot of the good things are happening in that space. So what caused you guys to say, well, let's build up something here. Let's expand our space. So what caused and generated the desire to move in that space as well?
So the building that we're currently in is actually only about 11 or 12 years old.
Okay.
We were originally located more within downtown Dayton, but a fire put us out of business temporarily.
Okay.
But it's kind of a cool story to hear because apparently within 3 days, the community had all pitched in and raised enough money for us to be able to get back in business almost immediately. And so with all of the support, we had to make a decision as an organization. Do we want to put a lot of investment in this building that's not really designed for our needs, or do we want to start over and find somewhere that's a little farther out that can kind of hold a longer distribution line and all of these other things that we need? So we ended up getting the property that we're at now from the city of Dayton, I do believe, $4 or $5 through the Lot Links program, which was phenomenal, not just for the neighborhood, but for us as a nonprofit organization to be able to do the work that we do. And so we picked that area because we heat mapped where food insecurity was, and we wanted to find the highest concentration. And that zip code where we sit was at the time the highest concentration. And so we said that's where we need to be. We built our new campus. We've already made several additions to the building in order to grow with the rising demand for food assistance. And now we're actually building a new community center.
Okay.
So we're really excited about that.
Okay. So how big is that going to be? And what's going to be on the inside?
The community center is almost finished construction, and we're eagerly awaiting it. It's going to have a variety of services, a lot more wraparound services. So it's going to include a professional kitchen. It's going to house workforce development programs. There will be SNAP and WIC application assistants and a team of community health workers that are trained to help connect people to services outside of our own. Because we know that hunger doesn't happen in a silo. So if you're coming to us for food, you got other needs as well, and we want to be able to address those.
Yeah. You guys do have that wraparound service. I like that. One of the things that I heard you talk about this, I think in Impact Ohio, we had a conversation. You had some good time on the stage, if you will, to answer a lot of questions or give a really good presentation about what it meant for your organization to give food to those who want food, those who needed food. And one of the things we talk about was so many individuals who are not aware of some of the healthy lifestyles, the different type of food groups, and they clearly were not anywhere near knowledgeable about how to plant food and how to grow food. How often do you give presentations like that, and where do you do those?
Oh gosh, we have so many connections to the community. It would be impossible for me to give you a number, but all the time. In fact, our garden team specifically really appreciates the educational aspect of the work that they do. And so they're always inviting people on site to give them a tour. They are training their volunteers and people that are part of our compost bucket program. And they also work with a lot of local schools like Sinclair and UD in different varying capacities.
Okay. I know what about the elementary or middle schools or even high school students? Because the state, unfortunately, does not require, but I think a fourth of a credit now in health and PE. So it's woefully short in terms of what people need in terms of understanding how to, like I said, look at healthy lifestyles, not just the food, but also the exercise and all the things associated with that. So I know you guys don't have an exercise program. Everybody seems to be very healthy over there, probably because you're running around, putting food in back of trucks and cars. But what are your thoughts about potentially doing something with the school system as part of a regular curriculum?
I think we actually have that in the works too with Ponitz right down the street from where our warehouse is. They are working with students on urban agriculture and composting. And I think that's something that might have started this year, if I'm not mistaken. But so far, they've had a lot of good things to say. Okay.
And that's a strong connection to Central State because I know they do a lot of agricultural work as well in terms of their curriculum. Yeah. You got it all going on. Yeah.
We sure do. Our composting program is getting a lot of attention. It's not that old, honestly. I think it might only be about 6 or 7 years old, if I'm not mistaken. But we wanted to be responsible for the resources that we are given. And because we have such a robust retail rescue program and we do accept a lot of food donations, fresh food donations, one of the facts of life is some of the food is already going to be starting to turn by the time that we receive it. And we didn't want to send that to a landfill to create more greenhouse gas emissions. So we now have an industrial composter where we are able to process over 2 tons of food scraps each week, not only minimizing the waste that we're creating as an organization, but also accepting public scraps through our compost bucket program.
Okay. Yeah, I saw how that program worked. That's a lot to see how things heat up as they go through that process. You have this big composter. Are there any plans to have a new one? Or the one that you currently have is working? Is it big enough to do what needs to be done from that space?
So far, the one that we have is working great. It's keeping up, and the compost that it produces is absolutely fantastic.
It works. I tell you, it does work. Okay. So Food desert. I know we hear a lot of conversations about the food desert as far as the city of Dayton is concerned, and all of us look at the things that are happening as we continue to increase the number of grocery stores, if you will. I just mentioned Home Full. I didn't mention Gym City Market. Those are two of the newer ones. We have another space downtown Dayton. Young lady just opened it up. What's the name of that? I can't think of the name of it. I know I was just there last week for the grand opening. But I see more and more of our citizens who are jumping into doing things of that nature to sort of help out in terms of address that. Do you hear much about food deserts a lot? And how do you think your organization is helping to address some of those needs?
Oh, absolutely. We hear about food deserts.
Yep.
Advocacy is one of the ways that we address
Okay.
it, just by continuing to educate people what they are and that they exist. It's easy to take for granted if you live in an area with a grocery store that's down the street or all of
Correct.
the amenities. But when you don't, you notice, and it does have a big impact on your life. But Homeful is actually one of our partner agencies.
Okay.
So we were very excited to see them open up the grocery store in Gettysburg right there, especially because it is an area that lacked a grocery store.
Correct.
And Gem City Market was also an exciting addition to our community. And they've been really incredible because they are a retail rescue partner of ours.
Okay.
So they're giving back twice with any unused food or product. They're going to donate it to the Foodbank for us to distribute to our lines.
Yeah. So are you getting a lot of food also just from markets or from farms, or how does that work?
So we were very intentional about diversifying our food and funding streams, so that
Okay.
way if one dried up, we wouldn't be out of luck. But we do have a very large retail rescue program.
Okay.
A lot of the grocery stores are either donating to us or directly to one of our partners. We also get funding through grants, a lot of funding through community support, whether it's just, somebody mailing in $20 around the holiday season, or our community partners even. So recently, actually, one of the things I'm thinking of was a donation of two cows that
Okay.
was coordinated by you and
Yeah.
Commissioner Shaw.
Yeah.
We ended up getting 325 pounds of locally raised beef to distribute to our lines because of that.
That's special.
It really
that
is.
really is special. So I'm excited to hear that. So thank you for that, because I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're definitely not forgetting, because
Yeah.
meat is one of the most requested items and
Yeah.
one of the hardest to source at the same time, and most expensive. So I think sometimes people forget that, we are in the business of addressing food insecurity for people who are struggling because food prices have gone up so much. But as a food bank that also purchases much of their own food, we're impacted by rising food prices along with the people that we're serving. And so we're having to make tough decisions about the type of foods that we're distributing. We're never going to run out of food, but you might see the variety kind of pare back
Change, okay.
because we have to be thriftier with the money we receive.
Well, I'm excited. I'm really excited every time I get an opportunity to go to one of the food banks to give out food. I'm always tickled because there are a lot of the public officials who are there as well, because we all sort of come around and help out, and so stand around and get pictures taken with the folks who are getting some of the food. I see a lot of people that I've known for decades, and they're always happy, again, of course, to see people that they know, as well as happy to get some of the food that they need for themselves and for their family. So again, my hat's off to you. So everybody at the food bank, I love them. Okay, give them a hug for me when you get over to the space, get back to the office.
No, I will.
Just let them know how much we really appreciate their work. Is there anything else you want to say? I'm probably going to ask you, when's your next one? Yeah, when's your next distribution?
So we do have another distribution later this week, actually.
Okay.
It's our largest one of the series at the University of Dayton Arena
Okay.
/ Welcome Stadium. We are going to take
Yeah.
up that entire campus. So
Okay.
we're listing both.
Okay.
And that's going to happen. And we might even have a surprise appearance
Okay.
from the Bengals mascot at this
Okay.
distribution.
Okay. All right. That's great. That's great.
The last thing I did want to talk about is just the fact that it's Hunger Action Month.
Okay.
So during the month of September, this is when we, put full efforts into raising awareness about food insecurity and encouraging people to do something. So there's a million ways you can get involved. You can donate, you can volunteer, you can host a food drive. Just visit our website if you would like to get involved.
Okay. We will. You know where to find me. Okay.
Hopefully
be
we'll
here.
see you later this week at this distribution.
We'll definitely try to get there. So again, hey, so thank you again for watching in the Spotlight with Mayor Jeffrey Mims. A great opportunity to listen to a professional talk about how much fun it is and the very strong benefits that we have as far as the Dayton community is concerned. All right, thank you for watching, and have a great day.